Welcome everyone, thank you for coming today ahead of this big announcement for a huge night of boxing, October 27th at the MSG Theatre, live and exclusive on HBO, a wonderful, wonderful main event, the IBF World Middleweight title between the Miracle Man, Danny Jacobs and Sergiy Derevyanchenko. I think it's one of the top fights of 2018. Of course, other two World Championship fights on the bill in Mercado against Evans, and also a rematch of one of the fights of the year between Heather Hardy and Shelley Vincent for the WBO featherweight title as well. Before we get underway and hear from the fighters, I'd like to pass over to Peter Nelson from HBO to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. I want to thank Matchroom USA, Eddie Hearn, obviously, Frank Smith, the whole team there do a fabulous job. I'm just very pleased that this fight was able to come together, as well as the co-promoter of this bout, Louis J. DeBella, Esquire, promoter, etc., old friend. And it's going to be a terrific show. We're going to have a great co-feature that'll get announced shortly. And I want to thank the fighters themselves, obviously stepping up and taking this fight. It's not the easiest fight for either guy. This is a 50-50 fight. I think both fighters know that. I think everyone knows that. The title at stake formerly belonged to Triple G. I think the winner of this fight certainly puts himself right in the middle of the sweepstakes for the winner of the Canelo Triple G fight on September the 15th. We're very excited both for the fight itself and where it leads. I also want to thank Madison Square Garden. Obviously being back at the theater is always a great thing for us. We're extremely excited for October 27th, and we look forward to a great event. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Peter. I didn't know it was Louis Esquire, and you would have seen on social media me and Mr. DeBella going at it over the last few months and years. It's all good fun, but what he does do is do a great job for his fighters. Welcome to Teddy Farmer to the team as well. We'd like to be working with Lou as well. And this fight was made, and he pushed and pushed and pushed for Sergiy, and it was a tough deal to make. It took us some time because this is high stakes. This is the highest stakes, and you know, when Danny came over to HBO, he's had a couple of good fights, Arias, of course, down at the Nassau Coliseum, and more recently against Sulecki at the Barclays Centre. But this one now is the defining moment in Danny Jacobs' career. They were what we call showcase fights. I already see him much lighter than he would when he normally starts camp. He knows that this is the defining moment of his career on October the 27th. He has one very, very tough fight. Before we go into the main event, we're going to talk about this great fight on the card for the WBO featherweight title, and I'm going to pass over to our co-promoter for the fight, a long-term family friend, great guy, delighted to be working on this. He's going to be showing me the ropes at the MSG. He's already told me how I've got to price the tickets, when I've got to start promoting, who's on the undercard. I don't even know if I'm going to turn up. So I'm going to pass over to our good friend Lou DeBella to introduce his fights. Thank you, Lou.
Of all shocks, Eddie and I did business together. Which really isn't that much of a shock, and as he said, I go back with him since he was a wee lad in grammar school, literally. I've known his dad since my first days in this business 30 years ago. And I've said this before, I want to do business with every entity in boxing that allows the biggest opportunities for my fighters. And I'm thrilled that as an alumni of HBO, someone that's spent a number of years there, to be able to be involved in a fight of this excellence and this magnitude on HBO, because this is about as good as it gets. The young man to the right, I've known him since he's a kid. He's a tremendous athlete, a great fighter, a great champion, and as good a person or better person outside of the ring than he is inside of the ring. I mean, this guy is a profile in courage, and a guy that constantly gives back and is an inspiration to so many people. If you've been able to defeat cancer, you're not afraid of any man. This guy over here to my left, Sergiy Derevyanchenko, is a great fighter. One of the greatest amateur middleweights who's ever fought. 400 wins as an amateur. He was in the World Series of Boxing where he dominated. He's undefeated as a pro. And he's had to sit out periods of inactivity. And he hasn't made a lot of money as a pro. For a lot of reasons, a lot of them have to do with the politics of the game. When you're as good as he is, and you're from Ukraine, and you're not delivering gazillions of dollars, you have to be orchestrated to a title opportunity, and that's what happened here. I want to acknowledge that. First of all, thank you, Peter, because you were steadfast in demanding this fight and wanting this fight. And that's one of the reasons it happened. Keith Connolly, who was involved in as manager of Danny and an advisor to Sergey. The one thing I'll say is both his fighters wanted this fight, and this fight got made, and it got made on terms that was fair to both of them. I want to thank my partners in Sergiy Fight Promotions for letting me make the deal. And Eddie and I were able to get this deal done. It wasn't easy, but we got it done, and it's the right thing for boxing, and it's the right thing for the fighters. Both of them have been waiting for an opportunity their whole careers to fight for a world championship. And on October 27th at the theater at Madison Square Garden, the Hulu Theater. And again, my friends at Madison Square Garden, we haven't done a lot in a long time, but it's good to see Joel and Sal and my old friends at Madison Square Garden, and it's always good to work with you guys and to have an event of this magnitude at the Garden. Shelly Vincent, been begging for this rematch, as has Heather. They both have had this lifelong dream of a world championship. Heather wants her banner up at Gleason's. Shelly wants her banner in her gym in New England. When you're a female fighter right now in America, you're fighting for more than the money, because the money's not very good. You're fighting for other reasons. You're fighting because you care about the game. You care about your legacy, and you want to be as much as you can be. And also that title allows these ladies to go out and get sponsorships and make a few dollars that isn't being adequately provided for them right now in boxing in America. So I'm thrilled that this fight is on this card. I'd like to bring up first Shelly Shalito's Way Vincent.
First of all, I want to thank Lou, Eddie, HBO for giving myself and Heather a chance to be on this card. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to shoot hoops at Madison Square Garden. Now I'm going to get to beat Heather's ass at Madison Square Garden. So, that's great. The first fight was close. I felt I won it. She felt she won it. Some people thought she won. Some people thought I won. A lot of people thought it was a draw. This time, you're going to see the old Shalito. I'm going to have more than 3 weeks to get ready. And I think it's going to be a repeat of the first fight, just non-stop punching. My hand's going to be all over Heather Hardy like she's my woman. So, that's that. But I'm not leaving without my property.
She's so charming.
A little bit. Thank you, guys.
Heather the Heat Hardy has been one of the biggest attractions in New York boxing for years. She's made a move and is a 2-sport athlete. She fights also for Bellator. This is a fight that she wanted, but she wanted this fight for a world championship. And after what these ladies gave in the ring in 2016, they deserve this fight for a world championship. They're getting it. I'm thankful to everyone on this dais who helped make that possible. I'm thankful to the WBO and its president, Paco Valcarcel, for sanctioning this fight. And Heather, if you can beat Shelly, you're going to get that banner.
I'd just like to mirror what Shelly said. Thank you, Eddie, so much for having us on the show. Thank you, Lou, for fighting for women's boxing for all this time. One of the saddest things is that in 2016, me and Shelly put on the Fight of the Year, and so many people missed it. So we've been dying to do the rematch, the both of us, but kind of under the circumstance that everybody got to see, right? Like it's a bad time for women's boxing. This is a great time for women's boxing. So, yeah, I'm gonna bring home that title. Don't worry, guys. Thank you.
Come October 27th, he's there singularly in the corner of Sergiy Derevyanchenko to see a new champion crowned. Gary Stark, Senior.
Thank you, Lou. Good afternoon. I just want to say that they're not really going to fight. They're sparring, so you guys are. And yeah, I want to say in reality, this is a rough situation for me and Andre because we've been with these guys since I know Danny since a little baby. I worked with him before, and now we work with Sergiy, and we work with each other for different fights, and it's really rough on us, But I guess it's more rougher for the trainers because the fighters really they're not close like that, but me and Dre are close to the fighters. So for this fight to go on, it's really difficult for the trainers. But I guess as you say, it is what it is, you know, and we just have to give the best to each of our fighters. So, I mean, this is going to be a fantastic fight with these two guys because it's two really great talents, you know. So, I mean, you guys are going to see a really, really good Sergiy, and you're going to see probably a great, I hope not a great Danny Jacobs, but you know, all in real, I love you, D. You know, this is like the Golden Glove. So, thank you.
I said earlier, you know, you're a great fighter when you have 400 amateur wins, and you know, his amateur career, Sergey's, was every bit as outstanding as Triple G's amateur career was. He's one of the great technicians in boxing. He knows how to adjust. He can pretty much do everything in a ring. And some people may be sleeping on him because they're not that familiar with him. But anyone who's familiar with him knows that this very well can be the most difficult fight of Danny Jacobs' career. I believe it's going to be the most difficult fight of Danny Jacobs' career. Sergey's had to pay a lot of dues to get to this point. Been frustrated a lot, had to sit and wait, and had to endure difficulty in supporting his family, as most fighters do when they're not getting main events and not champions. But his life is going to change on October 27th at the Hulu Theater at Madison Square Garden. Sergiy Derevyanchenko.
Hi everyone, I'm glad to be here. This is my first big show. You'll be boxing for the first time of the HBO channel. I want to say thanks for the HBO channel for this opportunity. Thank you for my advisor Kit Connolly. Thank you, Phil. Thank you for my promoter, Luda Bella. Thank you for Danny. This is good fight. Thank you.
We're going to do our talking in the ring.
Luckily, Lou, I think you've done your talking for him anyway. If I'd have known you talk more than me, I wouldn't have let you have the mic. Unbelievable. Right, well done for doing that in English as well. Very, very good, very good. I won't speak in Ukrainian today, but as all the guys have said, this is a fight that normally wouldn't take place if the spoils weren't so big. If that golden crown wasn't on the line, I think these guys wouldn't be doing it. And as tough a spot it was for Andre and the trainers and Danny and Sergey, it was also a tough spot for Keith Connolly as well, a guy who has everybody's best interest at heart, obviously extremely close to Danny. And I'm going to bring in now manager for Danny Jacobs, advisor for Sergiy Derevyanchenko, to introduce Andre and his fighter, Danny Jacobs. Please, Keith Connolly.
It's good to be here. I want to thank a couple people before we start. Eddie Hearn, obviously, Danny Jacobs, promoter, giving him the opportunity to be in big events and to be basically the A-side in the spotlight. Also, obviously, Peter Nelson. Without Peter, Danny being one of the main guys on HBO wouldn't have been possible. So I want to thank Peter. And I want to thank Lou DiBella. It's been a long couple months. We don't always see eye to eye, but in the end, we both have the best interests of the fighter at heart and the sport, and that's what this fight's about, I think. But I really want to give credit to the two fighters. First of all, I sat down with Sergiy, and I explained to him how close I was to Danny. I've known Danny since he was about 15 or 16. Not only is he my top fighter, but he's like family to me. He's my #1 guy. Everybody knows that. I'd be disingenuous if I said anything different. I also care about Sergiy. I've gotten to know him, his wife, his son over the last couple of years. So I sat down with him and explained this, and he said to me, "This is business." I understand, Keith. Just get me the best possible deal. So I laid out different scenarios for Sergiy where, you know, if we fight Danny Jacobs, this is roughly what you're going to get. We could fight an easier guy for the title, possibly Martin Murray, maybe a smaller amount of money, but a definite win. And he looked me straight in the eye, and he said, "Keith, get me Danny Jacobs. get me in the spotlight. I want the HBO date. I want to be on the big stage. He could have taken the easy way out. There were maneuvers that Lou could have implemented to really avoid Danny Jacobs, get him the Martin Murray fight. He didn't want that. He wanted the toughest fight on the biggest stage. Then I sat down with Danny Jacobs. And I said, Danny, you know, you could fight Sergiy for the title. You're going to make the same amount of money to fight Sergiy in a really, really tough fight, or we can fight an average guy for the same amount of money. Danny Jacobs looked me straight in the eye, and he said, get me the title fight. I'll take the harder fight for the same amount of money. That doesn't really happen in boxing a lot. So I think both of these guys should get a lot of credit. I think it's going to be a tremendous fight October 27th, and I hope to see everybody there. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. We're going to bring up now from the Danny Jacobs team, Andre, to say a few words about your charge and also this great fight on October 27th. Andre Rozier, everybody.
Well. Can anybody say awkward? Right now, this is awkward. These two young men, my son to the right of me, my nephew to the left of me, they are fantastic athletes. And I will be the first to say that through boxing media, I was trying every angle I could for them to fight other great fighters. I tried to get Danny in with BJ Saunders. I tried to get Sergiy in with the next elite in line, even shooting as hard as we could for Triple G when Triple G didn't want to fight a real middleweight and he went after Vanes Martirosyan, just so that my guys didn't have to meet in the ring. But they wanted to. They wanted to box against each other, and quite frankly, if all of you weren't here right now, it would feel like we were in the gym right now. Literally, we'd be sitting, talking, smiling, laughing, and that's due to the professionalism that they both exhibit at all times. They're going to put on a great show. I'm not happy about it because these are my babies, but they want to put on the show and they're going to put on a fantastic event. You're going to see boxing at the elite level. This is where you'll see who the best middleweights in the world are, and may the best man win. I have to take Danny to camp and prepare him for the hardest fight that he'll probably have. This will be a harder fight than the Triple G fight because I thought we won that one, and that says everything in itself. But one thing I can guarantee you is that they are coming to put on a show. There's no animosity here. This is all about the business of boxing, and they are the consummate professionals, so you will see the best in boxing. And although I'm not looking forward to it, I'm ready for it. Thank you very much, and here we go.
Excellent, Andre. Nearly all there is to say, apart from to hear from the main man. Boxing gives us so many great memories. We meet wonderful people in boxing. I think all of us can say that. And meeting Danny Jacobs has been a wonderful experience for us and working with Keith. And I want to echo Keith's comments earlier about thanking Peter Nelson for this opportunity. What he's been able to do and we've been able to do with Danny is to put a schedule together for Danny Jacobs to box 3 times a year that other fighters just aren't getting at the moment, to allow him to finish a fight, go on his holiday, prepare back for camp, know exactly what his life entails. But he's never turned down a fight. He's never been moaning. He knows we know what he wanted, a shot at the world title. And I'm so pleased we've been able to deliver it. And I believe on October the 27th, he will become world champion at this great arena. And thank you to the MSG guys as well. It's going to be brilliant to be in there on October the 27th. And I can't wait for this place to be packed out for this guy's moment of truth, because he's a real stand-up guy. You know, we've told the story, you know the story. Yes, he came back and beat cancer, but that doesn't matter right now. What matters is he has an opportunity to go down in history as the IBF champion of the world in New York. And I'm so pleased he gets this opportunity. He's got a lot of work to do, but I believe the best middleweight in the world right now is Danny Jacobs, and I believe he'll prove it. Ladies and gentlemen, final member to talk at the dais. That is the former WBA middleweight champion of the world, the challenger for the IBF Middleweight World Championship on October 27, Danny the Miracle Man Jacobs.
Thank you. I have a couple people I want to thank. I want to thank, obviously, Team Jacobs and everybody that's been involved in allowing this to be possible. Thank you guys very much. I know a lot of guys have questions about why is this fight happening, but I mean, the biggest question that I ask myself is, you know, do you dare to be great? You know, and what obstacles were you allowed to get in your way to prevent that? And my answer to myself is nothing. I wouldn't allow anything. This is for the love of the sport. This is for the love of boxing. This is for the fans. This is for my dreams. He's fighting for his dreams, and we both have families that we're fighting for. So this is not a sad time. This is a time to embrace the real, true passion and the grit and what boxing really means, because, you know, we share a relationship. So if that doesn't tell you that this is for the love of the sport and that we truly desire the sport and we want to become champions for the fans, we all have our own legacies that we want to live in life. So for the love of boxing, I look forward to October 22nd. I know it's going to be a tough challenge. Me and Sergiy have damn near over 300 rounds together in sparring. I mean, he knows me, I know him, and I just think that the professionalism we carry is going to extend into that ring. But it's not going to make it a sparring match, as Andre said. This is going to be a war. It's going to be an exciting war. This man comes forward, strong, durable, and you guys know what I bring to the table. So, like I said, I thank all my team and everybody for making this possible. Thanks for the media. Thanks to IBF and everybody who gave me this opportunity. I'm gonna let you guys down, so thanks to my fans, and see you guys later. Bye.
Hold on, fellas, one more. One more.
We got one more.
We need to at least try as well.
Turn that way.
Yeah, the camera's good. Guys, can we get them?
Tim's and Adidas, that's what's up. Right there, baby. Love it.
Thanks, guys. Yep.